Welcome to Tech Topics. My name is Stephanie and I'm an Assistive Technology and Activities Specialist with Future Insight. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel, like this video, and check back frequently for more content. Today we're going to talk about the control center on an iPhone with an emphasis on navigating through it using Voiceover. We'll talk about what is the control center, how do we get into it, what are some items that are in it, how do we add or take items out of the control center. So let's dig in. First, what is the control center? I like to kind of think of it as an area where you take control. And there are items in that center that give you some quick access, little shortcuts on how to do some different tasks, a variety of different tasks, sort of a hodgepodge of things that are important to you to be able to manage. So you take control in the control center. And to access the control center, we're going to touch at the very top of the screen into what is called the status bar. The status bar is across the top of your iPhone where you have your battery power level and your Wi-Fi signal, the time, and so on. So when you touch up there with one finger, you're moving the focus up there. And I'll do that now, and then we're going to listen.
79% battery power, charging, status bar item. Swipe down with 3 fingers to reveal notifications. Swipe up with 3 fingers to reveal the control center. Double tap to scroll to top.
So with hints on, it told us how to get to the control center. It said that we can take 3 fingers and slide up. So let's do that.
Control center, airplane mode, switch button, off.
Okay.
Double tap and hold to show more controls.
And
double tap to...
It threw me in one of the items, but that is not at the top. So let's touch near the top.
79% battery airplane mode.
All right.
7 do not disturb. Orientation lock.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Switch airdrop. Do not orientation.
I'm flicking to the left.
AT&T cellular microphone in use.
Okay.
Power button. Add control.
So now
button.
I'm at the top left, and I can flick right to work my way down the list of what's in my control center. Keep in mind your control center might look a little different depending on what you have in it. So they're not identical. They're made to be customizable. So if we start flicking to the right, we're going to hear some basic information that's similar to the status bar, although we're able to move out of it if we just keep flicking right.
Power button.
There's the power.
Screen recording.
Screen recording, it's announcing that at the top because I am actually using screen recording right now to do this tutorial. Flick to the right.
Microphone in use.
And the microphone is in use for that because I'm recording this tutorial. Flick to the right.
Cellular, 1 of 4 bars. Signal strength, status bar item.
Okay, there's
Swipe down with 3 fingers to reveal note.
Yep, there's some of that status bar information. Flick to the right.
AT&T Wi-Fi, status KA1VGA, orientation locked.
Okay.
Image, status bar item.
The first piece of information I really like is this orientation locked. That, if it's locked, it means when you turn your phone, typically you would hold it portrait style, up and down, the long way, the tall way. If you hold it left to right, that's landscape. But often when we hold our phones in our hands, we might wiggle it a little. We might tilt to the left or pivot to the right just a tad. And if orientation was not locked, then especially when you're using VoiceOver, you're going to hear it switch. It's going to think you're switching to landscape or switching back to portrait, even when you don't turn it all the way. So it's going to start speaking out loud and telling you things, which really can be interruptive and not very user-friendly when you're trying to just access the information you need. So most people leave their orientation locked who rely heavily and on VoiceOver. Sometimes reasons why you might unlock it, if you want to watch some video content, a lot of that is in landscape. But also, keep in mind, some of the apps that are out there, even when orientation is locked, sometimes, not always, but a few times, will force it into landscape anyway. It thinks you want to do that. Typically, there will be buttons on there to get out of that. But most of the time, it'll ask you, though, as well, if you want to switch to landscape mode, to do that. But so it's advisable if you rely heavily or solely on VoiceOver to keep your orientation locked.
Do not orientation lock.
So the easiest way to unlock it is you just double tap on it. It's a toggle. If you want it locked, you double tap on it again. These are VoiceOver gestures. All right, so the next item I have on mine
Do not disturb image status bar item
is do not disturb. That's a really good one if you need to access that. You're busy, you don't want to be interrupted. I like to turn on do not disturb when I do these recordings because then you would be very interrupted and you'd have to start over and over and over again if you get calls and texts and all that, type of notification coming in. Flick to the right again.
79% battery power. Charge.
That's just my battery.
Airplane mode. Switch button. Off.
All right, so there's...
Double tap and hold to show more controls.
Yep, there's airplane mode. When you are flying, often on cruises, so ships and planes, certain things you want your airplane mode on. And so you just double tap it to turn it on and double tap it to turn it off. So we're going to flick to the right again.
AirDrop. Switch button. On.
So AirDrop is a feature, an aspect of sharing material, files, photos, videos, to people that are near you. So they're typically in the room with you and you want to it's very fast. You just tap on your photos or videos or your file, whatever you're, wanting to send over to somebody in the room with you. And it's called AirDrop. So you can turn that on or off if you wish to by just tapping, double tapping with VoiceOver. And so right now I have that.
Wi-Fi AirDrop. Switch button. On.
That's on. So I can AirDrop other people. Next, we flick to the right.
Wi-Fi. Switch button. On.
So I have my Wi-Fi on. I could quickly switch off my my Wi-Fi if I needed to. Likewise, that can sometimes be handy. So I'm going to flick to the right.
More controls button.
And if I tap here, I could reach
expand.
more. I could double tap here and discover more controls, but there are more below it. Let's keep flicking to the right.
Lock rotation. Switch button. On.
There's that lock rotation again.
Mute. Switch button. Off.
Mute.
Double tap to toggle setting.
So if I needed to mute, I could come into my control center quickly and double tap on that to mute my phone.
Brightness. 0%. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Brightness is nice in here, especially if you have some vision and all of a sudden it's like, oh, my screen just all of a sudden got so bright, or, my iPhone did an update and it made my screen bright, or whatever the reason might be, or it's too dim, it's not bright enough. This is a slider and you can flick up or down with VoiceOver to adjust that.
10%.
So 10%.
20%. 30%.
And then I could also flick back down.
20%. 10%.
Right? So that's a nice one to have in there. Flick to the right again.
Volume. 100%. Adjustable.
Again,
Swipe up or down with one.
it's great to have your volume adjustable in here as well. So again, that's that slider that I can flick up or down to adjust.
100%.
Let's see.
100%. Selected. Volume. 100%. Adjustable. 100%. Selected. Focus.
I don't think it's adjusting
volume,
because I'm using the volume in the recording. So we'll keep going, but you could adjust that. I'm going to flick to the right.
Selected. Focus. Do not disturb. Button.
So there's focus. And right now I have it on do not disturb so that I can be in this tutorial. Flick to the right.
HomeKit. Image. No home setup.
So HomeKit, I don't use HomeKit. That is Apple's ability to have a lot of automation, like lights and switches and things like that. So I'm going to keep going.
Flashlight. Switch button. Off.
So if you quickly
Double
need
tap
your
to toggle
flashlight, you could go into the control center and double tap on that. Keep in mind you can also quickly ask Siri to turn on your flashlight. She'll even respond to turn on torch or turn off torch. But it's also in here if you need to find it. I'm going to flick to the right again.
Flashlight brightness. Off. Adjustable.
The brightness
Swipe up or
is,
down with one finger to adjust the value.
there's the flashlight brightness.
Timer. Button. Double tap and hold to show more controls.
So here we could double tap and see more about the timer. Some of these things Siri can do anyway, you know. Siri set the timer for 20 seconds. You know, set a timer for 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever. But if you do need to access these things, or you just prefer not to talk out loud and you want to come in here and just take control that way, you can.
Timer. 1 minute. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
So you can have an adjustable timer in here. So that's kind of nice.
Flash timer button. Edit controls. Timer 2 minutes. Adjustable.
So I adjusted it to 2 minutes.
Timer button. Timer 2 minutes. Adjustable. Open control. Flash timer button. Double tap and hold. Timer 1 minute. Adjustable. Swap timer 1 minute. Adjustable. Flat timer 1 minute. Camera button.
And here we have the camera.
Double tap and hold to expand.
So I flick to the right. Here's camera. Again, your control center might look a lot different than mine. And so cameras in here. I have a lot in here. I'm going to flick to the right.
Scan code button.
We can scan a code in
Double tap and
here.
hold to
That's always nice to be able to scan a code.
selected. Screen recording button.
And here's the screen
Double tap
recording.
and hold to show more control.
The screen recording is how I do these tutorials. If I simply double tapped on screen recording, it would start recording, but there wouldn't necessarily be any audio from the microphone. If you double tap and press into on the second tap, it's double tap and hold. So it's kind of, instead of a straight up double tap would be like dit dit. I'm kind of making the sound with, you know, what you tap, dit dit with your finger. But if you double tap and hold, it would be, you know, da-da, you press into it. Then it would open up and you'd see different things you could screen share, screen record, and you'd see the microphone at the bottom. And if you want to, if you want to turn the microphone on, you would double tap on that and then flick to the left, and there's a start record button. It counts down 3, 2, 1, and then it starts recording. So the idea there is, if I just screen record and don't turn that microphone on, let's say I want you all to hear a YouTube video. So if I don't turn the microphone on, but I screen record, I could go over to the YouTube video. You'd kind of hear the little click, 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 little noises that Voiceover makes a little bit. You'd hear some little pulsings. and I would get into the YouTube video and play it, and you would hear it. You would definitely hear it. But if you want to talk through what you're doing, you would not hear that unless you turn on the microphone. So again, double tap and hold, and then you would see at the bottom there's a microphone. Double tap on that, make sure it's on. It toggles on and off. And then flick to the left and start record. Double tap on that. And so having that on, the example with the YouTube video, now I could talk as I, now I could talk as I go over there, right? So you would hear all that talking. Welcome, I'm going to play a YouTube video. Let's navigate over there. And you'd hear all that along with it. So instead of just hearing voiceover, you would hear me and the voiceover and the video. All right, so let's flick to the right.
Magnifier button. Double tap and hold to expand.
All right, so magnifier, that's a good one. There's other things in magnifier, some settings and ability of how big you want things magnified sometimes. I'm going to double tap on that. All right, so just to give you an idea.
Card controller. Full viewfinder, image, card controller, selected, zoom, 0%.
You can zoom in and out with your magnifier.
Brightness, 50%.
You can have the magnifier brightness.
Contrast, 50%. Filters, no
There's
filter.
filters, color filters for your preference with your vision.
Flashlight, off, button. Activities, button. Detection mode, off, button.
Detection mode is kind of cool. You can play around with that. That is in magnifier if you've never tried it out.
Freeze frame button.
And you can freeze the frame. You can freeze the frame, which is nice if you need to really focus on something. But I'm not going to belabor every aspect of everything in the control center, or we'd be here a long time. But you get the idea. I just thought it was worth showing you. Magnifier, you can ask Siri, to open magnifier as well, or start magnifier.
Detection
So I'm going to get out of magnifier.
Viewfinder, image, and viewfinder, image.
We're going to go back.
80 iTunes KA1VG controls selected. Magnet screen mirroring. Button. Screen
mirroring.
Double tap and
you
hold
can do that.
Ping my watch button.
Ping my watch is good. I'm flicking to the right with one finger. If you have an Apple Watch, it's great if you might have misplaced it. Where did I set my watch down? You can ping it.
Hearing devices button.
Then we get into some hearing devices.
Scan code button.
Scan a code.
Visual intelligence button. AirPlay audio. Not playing. Previous dim button.
Sometimes so I'm flicking to the right and we have a player. Previous,
play,
next, and next. Button. Sometimes if you were listening to some media, you could go in here and double tap and play it and hear it again. It's kind of interesting. But this just goes on and on. So you get the idea. You just flick to the right and work your way through in the control center, and you'll hear all the different things, that you can have in here. So now let's talk about how do we add or remove and manipulate these things. Maybe you don't want everything in here. Let me flick to the left to something I might be willing to take out.
Previous, dim, not playing, AirPlay, visual, scan code, hearing devices, ping my watch, screen mirroring, button. Double tap and ping my watch, button, screen mirroring, button.
Yeah, let's get rid of screen mirroring. All right, so when you're on something here that you might want to work with, I'm going to use the rotor gesture. And there is a VoiceOver tech topic tutorial in this playlist about how to use the rotor. But basically, I call it the touch, twist, lift gesture. You take two fingers. It can be any two. I prefer my thumb and index finger. And I leave a little space between them. I touch the screen with them, twist on the screen, and then lift my fingers off. So you take the two fingers, touch, twist, and then lift them off the screen. And every time you do that, different features come up. So I'm going to make sure that I turn my rotor
Characters, actions,
to
activate.
actions. All right. And now that I'm on actions, I'm going to flick down with one finger.
Open controls.
All right. I'm going to flick down again.
Edit controls.
I could edit controls,
Activate, default.
activate,
Open controls.
and open controls. I'm going to edit controls first of all. So I'm going to flick down one more.
Edit controls.
All right. Let's double tap on that.
Visual intelligence is editing one by one.
So now all of these things in my control center basically have an edit aspect to them. So let's see. I'm going to flick left.
Scan code is editing. Visual intelligence is editing. Page 1 of 5. Visual scan code. Hearing is ping my watch.
Oh, there's that
Hearing
mirroring.
is scan. Hearing is editing
Okay.
one by one.
Mirroring is editing. All right. So now I
Hearing
can
device. Open controls. Edit controls. Activate. Default. Open controls. Character. Actions. Headings. Actions.
make sure I'm on
Activate.
actions.
Open control. Edit controls.
It bounced me out. Okay.
Hearing is editing one by one.
So mirroring is editing one by one. So this is the size of, you can change the size of each feature in your control center. So if you're strictly relying on VoiceOver and not your vision, that's really not going to matter how big it is. So it's just how big each of these shows up in your control center. So
Hearing devices. Button.
one by one.
Open controls. Edit controls.
It keeps bouncing me out of edit if I don't do something. So I'm going to double tap on edit.
Hearing is editing.
There we go.
One by one. Stop editing controls.
So I could stop editing,
Delete.
delete this mirroring control.
Resize to 2 by 1.
I could resize it.
Resize to 2 by 2. Show controls gallery.
I could show the controls gallery.
Drag hearing. Activate. Stop editing control. Delete.
So I could delete it. I'll double tap on this.
Current action. Delete is editing.
Okay.
Scan code is editing. 1. Visual intelligence is editing. Scan ping my screen mirror magnifier. Screen mirror.
Yeah, it deleted a different one.
Ping screen mirroring.
I'm gonna do it
is
again.
editing. 1 character actions. Stop editing delete.
Delete. There we go.
Ping my watch. Double tapped magnifier.
And now it's
screen
gone.
record magnet. Ping my scan code is ping my magnet. Screen recording. Is
I flicked
editing.
left and right
Magnify. Ping my watch.
to make sure it was gone, and screen mirroring is now gone. So we saw that we could resize if we really felt like we wanted to, a control to be a little bigger, take up a little more room in the control center. We can also delete.
Ping my watch button.
Yeah, we can also
Double
delete
tap and
now.
hold. Scan. Ping my watch button.
Let's
character actions. Activate.
go have the rotor on actions, flick down,
Edit controls. Activate. Edit controls.
edit controls.
Ping my watch. Stop editing control. Delete. Resize to 2 by 1. Resize to 2 by 2. Show controls gallery.
Now we're showing controls gallery.
Sheet grabber. Expanded. Button.
Now we
Double
have the
tap to
controls
dismiss
gallery
sheet.
brought up. And we could put more controls in here. I already have a lot, but we could. All right, so I flicked down till I got to show controls gallery, double tapped on that, and now we're going to flick to the right.
Search controls. Search field.
We could search the controls if we knew what we were searching for. Maybe we don't. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. If you wanted to search, you would double tap on that. The keyboard would come up, and you could type what you're searching for, or you could use the microphone and dictate.
Translate. Control.
So we could add the
Activate to add to
translate
control center.
control in here. That's pretty cool.
Alarm. Control.
I'm flicking to the right.
Activate to add to control.
I'm flicking to the right and just working my way through this list of controls in the gallery. Alarm.
Timer. Control.
Timer.
Text size. Control. Magnifier. Control. Voice memo. Control. Dark mode. Control. Flashlight. Control. Stopwatch. Control. Screen recording. Control. Quick note. Control.
Now notice in the gallery, it's naming all the controls, whether they're already in my control center or not. It's just a gallery naming every control possible that you could put into your control center. So you might say, I already have screen recording. Why is it listing it? It's just naming absolutely every, possible option in the gallery.
Low power mode. Control. Scan code. Control.
Well, I really like that
Activate
translate.
to add to control.
The translate one I like. I'm going to flick to the left.
Low power. Quick note. Screen stopwatch. Flashlight. Dark mode. Voice memo. Magnifier. Text size. Timer. Alarm. Translate. Control. Activate to add to control center.
All right, so I'm going to double tap on that.
Translate is editing 2x2.
Okay. Do I want it to be 2x2?
Stop editing controls.
Sure, why not? I didn't really care. But I'm going to stop editing. I flicked
Translate Spanish button.
I flicked down, by the way, to stop editing.
Edit controls. Page 2 of 5. Adjust translate Spanish button.
So there it is. I can
Double tap
translate
and hold
it.
to
Right now
expand.
it says Spanish. So let me listen to the whole thing.
80 translate Spanish button. Double tap and hold to expand.
Yeah. So I can double tap and hold to hear more options in there. I'm going to do that.
Page 2 of power button. English.
Yeah, so here's your languages.
Microphone in
Sí,
use.
así que
English.
aquí están
Uh-oh.
sus idiomas.
Services in use. Power. But add controls.
I don't want
button.
that. I'm recording. I don't want conflicts while I'm recording. So I'm going to get out of that.
App Store.
Okay.
Double iTunes Store. Music folder. 13.
I'm getting out of that. Okay.
Yes. Yes, so here's your
All right.
music folder. 13. Music folder. Yes, so here's your languages. More button. Yes, so here's your language. More. Swap languages button. More.
Okay.
Yes, English. News folder. 6 apps. Wallet. Music
Okay.
folder. 80% battery power.
Let's
Status bar.
go
Control
back
center.
into-
Airplane. Selected. Focus. Do not
There we
disturb.
go.
Volume. 90%.
All right. So that was a
Adjustable.
little interesting.
Swipe up or
Didn't
down.
realize it was going to already start trying to talk in the translate when I brought that up. So good to know. But so we learned that we can we learned what the control center is. We've already learned how to get into the control center by touching the status bar and then sliding up with 3 fingers into the control center. We learned we could navigate, flick to the right to move down, or flick to the left to move up the list of options in the control center. We can use the rotor to make sure we're on actions, flick down on a given control, and then we flick down and we can hear a few different things, such as we can change the size of that control. We can remove it from the control center. We can access the gallery and add items to the control center. So that's the quick way to really understand what is the control center all about. And you can really make it your own. I know that I am overdue for a nice little cleanup on my control center. How about you? So spend some time, put some things in, take some things out. Make sure that they don't double up with things you just do with Siri anyway, because it's just clutter. There's too much in there. So time to clean house for me. Anyways, thank you for joining, and I look forward to the next time we gather.